Well, it's entirely possible that you're watching this video because, like me, you purchased a kiln used, brought it home, and then decided to find out what to do next. So if that's of interest to you, follow along in this video as I share what I've done up to and including my first bisque firing with this 50-year-old Paragon kiln. One of the first things I did was to look up the badge plate on the side of the controller, and then I went online and found the owner's manual. From that, I learned about wiring and what it was going to take to install the power to run my kiln. And so in my case, I had to run a new breaker and install, by an electrician, this outlet that will power the kiln. The next thing I wanted to do was to inspect the inside of the kiln and take a good look at the condition of the side walls and the bricks. And in this case, it's really good shape considering its age. There has been a little bit of repair here and here, and these elements are sticking out proud, so I'll have to address that. So the first thing I'm going to do is to get the vacuum and vacuum out the inside. So to demonstrate setting up the kiln sitter, I'm going to use this little clay bar that will rest here on these two supports, and underneath this pin is actually a lever, and it's connected to this end here. As I push down on this lever goes up, and that allows space to push this bar in the middle. This piece here is a weighted kill switch. When it's in the up position, the kiln would fire. When it's in the down position, if it strikes coming down, it'll turn the kiln off. So to set it up to fire, I'm going to push this weighted kill switch all the way up, push this end of the trigger down, which raises the lever, makes room for this little clay bar to rest on these two pins and underneath this lever here. And when I let go, then this is held in place and it's ready to be fired. Now we're ready to close the lid and then plug in the power. But before we turn on the kiln, we have to activate the kiln sitter by pushing this button. So now that the kiln is properly armed, we can turn these dials to the high position for this test, because I want all of the elements to glow red, telling me that they're all functioning at their highest setting. These red lights tell me that the kiln is operating. You can also hear a buzz in the background. It's been a little bit of time now. Let's see how we look. Oh, that red is nice. I got light, nice strong heat coming out of the kiln, and all of the elements are lit. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the switches off, knowing that all of the elements work and my purchase was well worth the money. So I'm very excited about that. Well, now that I've completed a few more pieces, including this mixing bowl from my YouTube short, I now have enough material to put into the kiln for my very first bisque firing. So now I'll take the last piece, put that in place, and I'll lower the kiln lid, arm the kiln setter by pushing the button in, and set my clock to 12 noon. I have two peep hole covers. One I'll put in the bottom And the other I'll rest under the kiln to prop it open just a little bit. And that allows an escape route for any moisture that's in the ware to slowly evaporate and escape the kiln. So now I'm ready to go ahead and turn the kiln on to low, and the red lights are on, and I'm firing. This is my first bisque firing. I'll come back in 2 hours to change the settings. As I reach 2 o'clock, it's time to turn the lower dial to medium temperature. I'm going to leave the vent open with the plug here, but now I'm going to take the lower dial and turn it from low to medium, and this is for about a half hour longer, and then I'll come back and make another change. Okay, we're going to continue the ramp up by turning the upper dial also now to medium. Both dials are set at medium, and we'll leave this for another half hour as we ramp up. Well, we're now 3 hours into the series, and on the wall here, pointing at 3 hours, I now need medium and high. So the lower button needs to go to high. Lower button, the lower dial. And we'll come down here and we have the top at medium and the bottom is now at high. And we're good for the moment. You can see inside it's a little red. Also at the 3 hour mark, I'm putting gloves on so that we can take the cone out. Okay, by the clock, I'm now into my 4th hour, so I'm ready to do my last operation, which is to take my peephole cone and plug this upper peephole, sealing the kiln, and then turn the switch one more location to high, where both switches now are on high. The kiln is sealed, and it will come up to cone 06 temperature, melting the little bar that's inside the kiln, causing the kiln sitter switch, the weight to fall and turn the switch off, killing the kiln. So it's the next morning. The kiln has completely cooled off, well, mostly cooled off. It's cool to the touch on the outside, and I'm excited to see the inside. Let's take a peek. Well, the good news is nothing broke. So it looks like the cone is fully curved the way we expected. Here's the kiln sitter cone, and it also is what we expected. Let me bring the camera in closer and look inside. So here's the inside of the kiln. It's pretty exciting. So here they are, all of the pieces in the very first batch at the Early Riser Pottery Home Studio. I am so tickled with the outcome, and it just proved that the old kiln that was new to me is a success, and long live future projects. So that concludes this video. Until next time, be an early riser. Get up and get going, and I'll see you soon.